Hi again, and welcome back to another Patreon replay analysis. Today, we're going to be working through Bongtage, aka Check Out This Used Mattress a run-on joke about check out this used mattress I scored whenever he scores a goal. So clever name. Bongtage is what he's known as on our Patreon and on Discord. So excited to go through another one of his replays. He's such an energetic dude. Even like I haven't actually even heard his voice, but his messages to me are always so excited. He's asked some great questions, and we've had some really good conversations. So please keep it up. You're always welcome to ask me any questions you need throughout our time. So I'm excited to get into this replay. This will end off our February sessions, which would be great, and then we're diving right into March as I do these on the last couple days of Feb. I will say I've done a lot of replays in a short amount of days, so I'm excited. I think for March what I'm going to do is I'm going to have shuffle them out a little bit more. Plus, the YouTube algorithm in January, the YouTube stream uploading in January didn't let me upload more than I think it was like 3 or 4 videos at a time. So I might actually just start trying to check them out anyways. So who knows? Maybe this will also come out later. But regardless, this is one of our last ones that we're doing for the month, and always a pleasure to work with Bongtage. So excited to see what he's got for us today. So let's dive right on in. I say that and nothing starts. There we go. There he is. Showtime. Using that Cloud9 Dominus, white Dom. I love it. Makes me happy. Good loss over to your teammate. So Bongtage is in the D3 area. He says he does shuffle in and out and around in that range in general. And he's currently playing with a teammate who also shuffles between Platinum and Diamond, and then another teammate who's right around his rank. So it should be a good game. Look at some high-level Diamond gameplay. A lot to work with. Oh, the comms. He even mentioned that they do have comms, but they could be a lot better. This is just a Canadian tragedy, if I could word it in that way. Triple commit on defense. Bongtage, wide open net, sees his teammate and is like, uh-oh, I don't want to double commit when I go to this ball and have us both, maybe him hit me out of the way or whatever that may be. But no, Bongtage, this is your ball, buddy. You do cut back in, don't get me wrong. Like I would have just preferred that you rotate out in the first place and just leave. But you do rotate in and you have a much better angle on this ball, whereas your teammate here is going to have to kind of wrap around it to then hit it in. So he definitely does have a harder shot, hence why I do think he leaves it for you. But this is just, you got to be the strong man, right? That kind of archetype, and just call it, just take it, right? Just big chungus, 8-bed frames, you're a mattress. It's kind of funny. But no, you through and through, you're going right to this ball, not even a question. So I appreciate your Canadianism, your Canadiana, if I may, of not going, both of you deciding not to, and then big chungus has a very easy save. So very unfortunate you guys are as polite and saying sorry as you do. But I'm in the same boat, don't you worry. But I appreciate it nonetheless. That's just really, really shows me you got to work on your comms a little bit. Right here, I want a little more aggression. So right now you have one teammate who's rotated back. This ball goes, and you see him go for it. He gets an awkward hit, and you see now both of your teammates rotating in a net, and so you want to be full speed at this ball right away. And I actually want you jumping into that 50. You currently have 2 teammates behind you, so there's not really anything to lose. I very rarely will say for someone to jump into a 50, but this guy's shooting, so it's much nicer. I guarantee you can read this hit. Like I know you have that ability, so I'd love to see you going in for a dunk here, but you don't even jump when you actually could have probably gotten the 50, and then actually a front post rotation there. So let's take another look at this one. As soon as you come out, you currently have a teammate. You guys are in a perfect rotation. So you just did your challenge, and now you're coming this way. You now have a goalie moving his way out this way. Oh, this map is always trash for my blue. My blue blends in perfectly. And then a 3 moving into net. So right now, your only decision should be looping around and coming in. Maybe that gets the boost. Maybe that's just getting a couple pads, whatever that may be. And so keeping that in mind, let's watch from this angle and show what this looks like. You actually cut in, and now you have a very awkward touch, and then rush the touch, and then now they have all the possession, and now you rotate. Now you rotate the back post, but by that point they've already scored. So you can see right away how quickly your rotations break down when you choose not to rotate to that back post, instead cutting off your teammate here and trying to go for a quick play that doesn't really work out. So really, really watch that. It's a horrible, horrible way to allow goals because it just feels bad, right? It's something so basic and so easy, but it's a really, really crappy way to allow goals. So really try to watch that and be ready for those kind of things, because I don't want you letting in goals. And that's a huge reason why players fluctuate, is that they leave especially around your rank. So at your rank, you're finally learning like the big things like ceiling shots and good air dribbles and things along those lines. And that's just when all the truthfully to me, a lot of the real fun of this game starts. And with that comes losing a lot of the general gameplay that you needed to get out of platinum. So I don't want you overlooking something as simple as these basics, and I think I definitely want to remind you to put a lot of effort into always remembering little things like that. I want you following. Great job. There's a lot of value in these kind of plays. That's a great pass, and I do think it leads to a goal. It does lead to a goal. There's a lot of value actually in these plays in doing a quick straight cam check. I do it every single time I pop a ball like this, where now my head is pointed up, like in this direction, and I'll just do a quick straight cam, and I'll stay in straight cam watching the circle, and I'll do it. Actually, I'll just press play. So I watch the circle. I still see that he hasn't jumped, and that's when I'll make my decision to jump and go for the ball. Whereas here, I truthfully think you just kind of rushed this touch, and it worked out perfectly into a goal. I could be completely wrong. You could have been the most calculated human on the planet and I didn't even know, but I do think there's some value in talking about that, because doing a quick straight cam right here and then knowing you can go is perfect, and that's a great way to actually make those plays. But regardless, great infield pass, great play, really like that's some high level stuff like that's a fantastic play, so great job. Ooh, almost for the demo would have been nice. I want you dribbling these in general. Look at your space, man. Look at the space you got. You're in the Dominus. Your flicks are gross. Don't overlook that. There's so much value. This is my actual go-to play, and I'm more often than not a Dominus main, so I can speak to this. I'll come in when the ball rolls out this way. I'll get a slight touch with the corner of my car right here, and then I'll quickly drive in around the other side of the ball so that I'm catching. So imagine this is my car right here. And so I'm catching the ball right about here is where I'm catching it. So imagine there's like the big ball there, right? But that's where the spot is touching, because then what I do is I'll dribble maybe a little closer in, like I'll get like just about to this spot, and I basically wait for the second that I see one of them is going to be challenging me. I wait for that exact second that I see the challenge coming, and then I go for a nice little 45 flick. I score a ridiculous amount of these goals by doing this, because what you're doing is so right now both of these guys are just gonna be rushing to net, getting ready for the boomer, right? And the second you take that first slow touch, you take this one first little slow touch, one of or both, but if it's both, even better, is gonna leave that line and come flying at you. And that's why the second touch you get needs to be ready for a good flick, and then the second that actual right there, when that challenge starts on either side, you boom it into one of the corners. Often for me, it's a 45 means I'm going opposite side, so I'm going over there. But that's a really, really important thing to keep in mind when we watch this from here. Who you scoring on? Honestly, if you shot far right side, you may have scored. Not gonna lie to you here. If we keep an eye on bed frames. Very, very slow recovery. If you shot right side on the net, that's a sure goal. But I actually think you did. You missed the shot. So maybe a little shooting practice might be needed. Good thing to know. But you give yourself some options, right? Play around with the ability that you can use in this play and see where it goes. Good plays all around. Good positioning. Great positioning here. Yeah, you got it. I want your teammate being the one who's aggressive. And then why are we rushing this touch, right? These are some of my favorite balls in Rocket League right here. You currently have someone awkwardly in net. He's probably going to start inching out. You have two players grouped up, and you know that you probably have a blue boy somewhere over here, right? Somewhere off screen waiting. So my go-to play on these is I will let the ball come down. The second it lands, so the second it makes contact on the ground, is when I want to be driving up next to it, jumping, and then side rolling into it. So I'm slightly above the ball, as you can see there. So if this is the ball, I want to hit right about there on it, because what that does is, since my momentum is this way, right? But then my side flip momentum is this way, it throws me onto the wall, and I'm going to get rid of some of this chaos here. So it throws me onto the wall like this, while the ball has also been rolled up like this. And then now it's a very, very easy adjustment for me to get on the other side of the ball and create a different kind of play. Now I can go for a boomer to the net. I can go for a boomer to the backboard that I'm going to follow myself. I can go for a far boomer to the backboard that our teammate is going to follow. Or my personal favorite, you can go for a really, really nice infield into the middle, leading your offenseman to then cannon that ball literally wherever he wants on the net. So you're giving yourself way more options, but instead and this is, buddy, GCs do this still. When you rush into this ball and just hit it, you didn't get a very good hit, but even if you boom it, you absolutely cannon it down. What is stopping this goalie from just driving and catching it? Now they have possession. So this is like the least intentional touch you can possibly take. Do whatever you want with it. Truthfully, you want to catch it and sort of dribble, you want to like pop it right away and go into something, whatever that may be. I find this wall play tends to work really, really well, and I really like giving that strategy to a lot of players because, again, you can see right away, oh, it's gone, and that's it. Your play is done, right? And so that's a really, really big thing to keep in mind there, and something I want you to think about for those plays. Oh, big pop. Good back post. Much, much better than that first goal against. It's a great back post. See how you're inching in here? So this is another part of offensive positioning I want to talk about. So you coming in this close serves absolutely zero purpose, right? Because right now, especially if we look at the field, look how open all of this juiciness is, right? There's so much field open right now. So I want you hovering over here, waiting for the slim but potential opportunity that this ball is 50'd between these two players here and pops out this way. And then you can eat this up. You coming in here serves the exact same purpose as your teammate coming in here. And so now you have two guys against two guys doing the job, so four guys doing the job of two guys, basically, is what we have here. So you should be the one standing out right now and staying away from this ball. It's so often that players will clump up on each other in these kind of more awkward situations. And as we continue and watch it from this angle, you can really see what I'm talking about. Actually, no, I want none. That's what I want. Now, if you were in a bit of, so now you have to turn away and now you leave the play. Now this is a quick boom away from your defender when this easily could have been a set up the opposite way, but you're now choosing to leave because you realize you were too tight. When in the first place, if you just weren't so tight in the first place, we could have easily had something better. So keep in mind you're clumping there, and this also just should have been a goal against. Bad frame should have boomed this on your own net. But a huge thing to keep in mind for these kind of plays. Pinch. Clear. Ooh, favorable. Pop in the middle. Great pop. Dude, I love it. I wish your teammate was better, and I wish you were booming it over. But fantastic play, man. Like, I cannot stress enough how incredibly high level that play is. It may not feel like it may feel like the easiest thing in the world, but people don't do this in high champ and in TGC. People don't take this pass. So I love that you're taking this pass. The coaches of the world are singing your praises. That's a fantastic job. Twice now, I will say your shooting could look a lot better. So that might be your big focus, I'd say, for the next little while, is get some good ground shots in. And if you need some training packs, please hit me up. Let me know. I literally just gave them to a couple other folks that I was working with. So happy to oblige there. But definitely fantastic breakout, great play in general. And now here we go. Here's the chaos. Always after a near scoring opportunity do I see shit like this. Is I look out, bing bang boom, you're all right next to each other serving. Again, absolutely no purpose. So the demo is messy and you guys end up getting a goal from it, but I don't really want to talk about that if I'm being fair. You need to assess this breakout a lot bigger. So you go for your shot and you miss the net. You land in their net and the ball tips to the opposite side. Right now, if we look at a steady rotation of the actual play, we know your teammate is falling and probably going to land near the ball, so he's probably going to go. This teammate is already moving over, should be moving into the number 2 slot. We do see that he moves over here, but ideally, like I said, he's moving right here. So where do you go? Technically, that means you're the third man, so you're covering this side of the field, right? So you going this way to that boost is a very bad idea. It serves, again, absolutely zero function. What I want you doing is either the same thing we talked about last time, taking a boost pad route and going all the way back around, because then you're able to get plenty of boost and stay in your position. I want you coming to this boost and then working your way out, but that's always time sensitive, so you want to stay on your ball cam to see if you even can. I more often than not will say please don't, but I do think that there's some availability there if necessary. And then worst case is you grab a couple of these pads and then go to that side boost over here and then come back into the play. So I don't want you cutting this again, because as we watch how quick, there's already a bit of chaos from your two teammates, but then you just add to it by throwing yourself that way too. Look how quick you guys pack all together. And now you're all stuck kind of doing the same thing. Shouldn't even, the Ranger could have been there way earlier if he had went to that ball even before you and maybe set up the play a little quicker. And best part is that if we look at this again, when Ranger was making the play over here, and like I said, probably could have been there earlier, if you had rotated and gotten this boost, you easily could have turned back in and been part of that play where Ranger was instead, and it would have been much less clunky and a faster way out. So really try to keep that in mind for those kind of plays. Great positioning. Almost a near 50 off the goal. Sorry, near goal off the 50. Great job. Great patience here. Now you want to eat that up. Oh, I'm seeing that a couple times now. You don't jump in your 50s. Very interesting. I love it. Like I'm actually super on board with that. Do not lose that skill to not rush a 50. But I don't know why you're not jumping at this ball in general, right? Like that just seems like a very winnable ball, and you're just choosing not to go. And then now, I appreciate your waiting. This should be your teammate's ball. Great job. But be careful of that front post, right? Like more often than not, I'll try to do one of two things when I'm in this position. I will either drive out this way, maybe even take a body, right, in this case, but I'll drive out this way and do that little semicircle pad loop so I get all the pads and can circle back into that back post. Or I'll go up over the net, come back down, and then come into that back post. And then finally, if I need to be quick, I'll start going over the net. I'll jump off, wave dash onto a pad, and then loop back around. Pick up maybe one or two more pads on the way. I don't want never down this line, because that's half the reason your teammate wasn't coming here, was he was worried he was going to hit it off of you, right? So coming back in this direction is almost always a bad idea, and I really don't want you doing it, but it's a great job that you end up going for the bump instead, and I love that. But then you turn back out. Never. Back post. Please, 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 please. Go to your back post. I want it every single time. And then you decide afterwards to do it. But you would have been in such an easier position to get this clear if the first thing you did was go to your back post. But now you're having to turn back into this ball and chase it instead of having a much, much easier setup in general, right? So, oh, excuse me. Oh my gosh. I really want you being able to look at your teammates and the play and make these types of rotational decisions quicker, because more often than not you're making the game a lot harder on yourself and a lot harder than it needs to be. So try to focus on that moving forward, and we'll see where we can get with that. And then here, so you can see, and you feel it here. Ranger should be cycling on the back post. You get ready to go to this ball right here, but then Ranger cuts you off. That's what it's been looking like when you've been rotating that way in the corner too, right? So a little bit of the taste your own medicine, you know. And it's truthfully just bad. Like it doesn't feel good for anybody, right, when it happens. And now you guys are completely stuck in and wedged into your own zone. Great recovery there for the 50 and the save, but it's a really, really important thing. Same thing. Watch this. We couldn't really see it because, like I said, you were in ball cam, but you straight cut off your teammate again, and then Ranger is now stuck, and now both of you are out, both you trying to rotate the back post, and you rotate much better this time. A little tight. I want you going further, but just a lot of things in here, right? So I'm gonna go back a little bit here. I'm gonna play this one slower. We're gonna watch this one at 25 speed as I draw. So when you cycle back in, you're clearly going for this boost. I want you to come back around and cycle back into the back post. Not even a question. When you turn out like that, you're hurting your teammate. And you see, so you've already cut him off here. Next, you get beat. First thing I want you, same thing, cycling right back around and behind your teammate to get ready for a very quick save, but you don't do that. And this ball pops out, and once we see, we get a nice quad commit. If you had just done a bit of a wider turn, you could have instantly been back at that ball. But now instead what you have is you having to now make a reverse save to get to this ball and become even more awkward. So I hope you're seeing how important these little rotational changes are, because truthfully, you're just making the game harder on yourself, right? And that's not what I want for you at all. I don't think that's what you want for yourself. And so it's something to really, really keep in mind moving forward for the rest of your play, because these little back posts and these little cuts and these little things are just making the game infinitely, infinitely harder on yourself. Great 50 and great win there. Great save. I know you have a lot of boosts, and basically never will I ever tell someone to take extra boost when they don't need it. Take this boost. Not even a question. Take this boost, because you don't want to allow them to continue to apply pressure. So this is what I call boost securing, right? So you're securing your back boost, so you keep those resources for your team, and you're not allowed, because if Doctor, which he does, if Doctor whatever can get this boost, all he's got to do is turn back in, and he's got 100, and he can still stay relevant. Whereas now, if you take it, he's got to go all the way back out for this boost, and you're instantly shutting down an opportunity for applied pressure, right? So take this boost every single time, and you actually make your line a little harder on yourself by doing this kind of crazy 90 to get to net, whereas right now it's just a very clean right into the net if you were able to do that, right? So you can see it again here. But great save nonetheless. Fantastic save. Great positioning there. One of my favorite things to do, truthfully, right here, hiding behind the post. Fantastic play. This is where I want you for almost every one of these balls that is coming through. That's a great job in general. Ooh, great bump from the teammate. Sets up the banger. Still, I want a better shot there, right? Like, you see right away. So that's a great hit. And I want you full speed. Do you get bumped a little bit? Oh, no, you don't. I want you, when you're coming into these shots, see how early you jump? So when you're... Actually, let's do this a little differently. From here. So when you're coming into a shot like this, let's go very, very slow. The ball is already on its way down, right? So when you're coming to this ball, you're hoping to get a good half volley out of this, and you've already lined yourself up well to do it. The issue is when you jump now, like you have, what you're doing is like I said, the ball is currently on a downwards trajectory, so you want to catch it once it lands and works its way up. What you're doing is you're forcing yourself to get so high up on this ball that you're never going to get height on it. I almost always say some of the best shots in the game, other than like a good air roll shot or things like that, but some of the just best straight bangers that can come into this game generally come from a jump that happens right in front of the ball, and then so you're jumping and then an instant flip. Because let's say if we take if we get rid of everything right here, imagine this ball is on the ground right now. It's very level, and you're coming into it. If you are jumping right here, as the ball, it now has an upwards trajectory, so it's going to be making its way up right now. If you jump there, get a little height, and flip instantly into it, you are going to be hitting perfectly on that curvature to send generally at a 45-degree angle. That tends to be pretty standard in the game. Obviously, from most places other than very close to the net, including where you are right now, a 45 is going to be far too high for this ball. So a great way to practice your shooting is to perfect this, to feel very, very good about constantly getting this height at all times. And then what you can do is, instead of changing the way you jump, where you jump, the time between jumps, things like that, what you're actually going to change is you're going to change how far out you're jumping. You're jumping from here. Great. That means you're going to be flipping a little later to it, and you're going to be coming way under the ball if you flip at the same time. Just like vice versa, if you're jumping from, let's say, here, you're going to delay this jump even more and then jump from there, meaning you're going to be on top of the ball, so you're going to get a really good grounder. If we watch you from this angle again, and we're going to keep going in this perspective, you can see right away that but already by now, you're higher than the ball is going to be, right? You're definitely not getting any height, but you're only gaining height at this point. And then when you flip, you're hitting the ball basically dead on mid. So you're going to get not only basically no power, especially because you're hitting it with your hood rather than your nose, right? You almost always want to be hitting with especially in the Dominus man, you will get disgusting power from shots from right here. That's where you always want to be hitting the ball. But right now, what we're seeing is you flipping into it so late that there's literally no height, no power, and this ball is just freely flying into the net right now. That would be a very, very easy save for the Doctor if he was actually straight on. And he actually almost gets there with the half flip. So a really important thing to keep in mind for your shooting, because I don't want to see your shooting become a detriment at all to how you play this game, right? And just to kind of add to it, because I do think there's some value in it, because like I said, I have seen some things with shooting with you. Let me quickly show you what I mean in free play in terms of actually lining that up. Because what you can literally do is you can just throw yourself. Oh, this is on snow day. The absolute worst. And I promise you I'm not editing these videos. Ba, 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 ba. What you'll see is all you need to do is when you're fully boosting this ball, if I jump early and then flip, it's going to be on the ground. And then I can line up the exact same way. Whereas if I jump late and flip, it's going to be a lot higher, right? And so you can get a good shot like that. And then, so practicing that while it's stationary. And then next, what I want you doing is practicing while it's bouncing. So I back mod, so I can at least practice it here. But it's going to be a half volley, so I'm going to jump very close. And it's going to be nice, good 45-degree angle, and I can time that well. Same thing, it's going to bounce. I'm going to jump this one a little earlier. Let me get some good distance here. So I'm going to jump this even earlier right next to it. And I'm going to cannon this ball, right? Because on that upwards trajectory. Next, I'm going to jump way later this time to get over this one. So give it one more bounce. Terrible timing. Don't mind me. One more time. So as it's coming down. One more bounce. And I'm way later. Not much power. You see what I'm talking about there. So that one's only 88. And then this one, same thing. I'll jump this one even earlier. That was not even on a half volley, and I'm still getting that 45. So you can see what I'm talking about in terms of the distance from the ball that you're actually hitting it. So you see most of my shots, I'm doing almost right next to it. Like even on those ones where I'm aerialing, I'm still doing it so close. I'm spamming A on my shots to get as much power as I can downfield when I'm shooting. And that is how I can generate a lot more power and a lot more consistency on the accuracy for my shot. Same thing. I'm jumping right next to it, getting good power, good placement, good accuracy, and so on. But it all comes down from actually practicing what those angles look like in the long run, right? So that is a huge, huge part of getting better with shooting and a really important thing to practice. So like I said, starting with these very, very quick flips like this to practice, and then slowly learning about delaying like so. Once it gives it, give it one more bounce. So then delaying, then hitting, and getting more, obviously not a lot of power, but more height, right? And so that's what that's going to end up looking like for you, and a huge thing you should really start looking into practicing. Let's hop in for that last minute of your replay. Good 50. Kickoff. Great positioning here. That's exactly what I want from you. And great job. So this is a big part. You're talking about your comms and some comments for your comms here. This is a big part of your comms is that you and your teammate here need to be talking. Are you cutting off and he's playing net, or is he going and you're catching up to net? It depends on what you're more comfortable with. So for me as a goalie, I'm much more comfortable with these saves than the save that he's currently going for. So when I take kickoff, I actually will more often than not set up this play. I'll tell, hey, can you go? I'll be there for the save. But if this is slightly behind, if I'm like over here, let's say, and I'm going for, and I'm not going to be anywhere near the net, you need to tell your goalie, stay net, I'm cutting off, and then you're going to fly up, and your only hope, and so I will say this over and over again, when you're cutting off, you cannot get faked. Your job is to make the offenseman make a move, whereas let's say you fly up to this and you think he's going high, so you zoom up and you go over him because he starts faking. You've done nothing because he keeps the same amount of boost that he had and he still has possession. So you've done literally nothing. So you can never, ever, ever get faked as the cutoff man. You always have to force. So you go right for the ball. You do not care about what their body language is, whatever they're doing. You just go right for the ball and go from there. That's the biggest part of playing cutoff and a really important part. But nonetheless, whether you guys calmed this or not, this was played very well. So he goes up, makes a save, even though, but you were there, like you said, you jump and you go for the save anyway. So great job there. You're going to want to be, there you go, I had a feeling there's going to be a double commit. You're going to want to be careful here. So you're currently set in net, so you can hear him too, at least I can right here, and so I don't know how much sound you use. I guarantee at this point, since you were sitting in net very comfortably, your teammate here is going to be moving out thinking he needs to be part of the play. You guys are winning, you're comfortable, you don't need to do anything else, so you should just be staying back right now. Make sure that whenever you're the person in net, you should always be able to see both your teammates, or at least know where they are, and so allow him to start pushing up, or call him. You are the point man right now, right? Like, you make all the decisions, you know literally where all 5 players are, you know where possession is, you know where the 50 is coming, and so on. This is a very, very easy boom if they had a little more time over your head if you keep inching out like this, so you have to be careful of these kind of plays. and then we get a double commit out of it. See what I mean? And now you guys are rotating over each other's boosts, and luckily your teammate's able to make a great 50 to keep us out of it. Good positioning. So now you stay back because you're the third. You got it. Now you're in. Boom. Not boom. Surprised you didn't boom. In future, please boom. I want you to practice your shooting, like I said. Very ballsy aerial. Don't be afraid to half flip out, right? You don't have to go for every ball. You already know for a fact that you have a teammate rotating behind. You have a teammate who just made the challenge. So what's stopping you from quickly half flipping and then going down and catching this ball and creating a play out of it, right? There's absolutely no panic here. Like I said, you guys are winning, so you don't need to do anything crazy. You don't need a quick touch. You don't need anything. Quick half flip out just to make the play. And please, please, please save some boost on your way down, right? You go up and you waste all 100 boost on a nothing aerial. But I will say you react very, very quickly and get yourself up to supersonic. So great job there. Really, really impressed with that. Get 50. And great game in general. So thank you so much for sending that replay, Bongtage. That was actually that was a really good one to go through. I see some really good things. So positionally, like I said, please start focusing on your back post rotation at all times. I think you leave net a lot because you are a bit of an offensive player. So just keep an eye on always making sure you're the solid guy, right? You're always the one getting ready to make the saves, because then you'll slowly start to instill that in your teammates as well, especially if you're playing with people who are just like you. So or play with you a lot is what I meant to say. So keep an eye on that. Give that a try when possible, and then as a mechanic, really start focusing on your shooting. You easily could have had 3 to 4 goals this game, so I really want you to focus a bit more on that shooting to make sure that you can kind of refine it and get it closer. Let me know if you want any more advice on that, but you already are in a pretty good place. I just wanted to tighten it up a bit as you get onto this champ grind, right? So again, thank you so much for sending. I had a blast doing this one, so I'm really looking forward to looking over your next ones and talking in the future. So please keep sending me any questions if you have them. We'll reconvene soon and chat. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. So this has been another Patreon replay analysis for the ASAP Weekly Rocket League podcast. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good one. Talk to you soon. Bye.